What's popping, people of the internet? Welcome back to our huge transfer roundup on a Friday night. I mean, what else could you want? It's, for Friday. You don't want anything too complicated, any long articles. You want fun transfer news, easy, quick, 20 minutes, bang, you're off to pre-drinks or whatever it is you're doing tonight. So, the topics we are going to discover, we're not going to discover him, but we're going to talk about him. Elliot Anderson, number one target. We're going to speak about Semenyo. We're going to talk about João Gomez and Brunop to still leave. It's supposed to say Bruno to leave, but it says Brunop. That's a new player that we've just signed. Yeah. Brunop Fernandes. We'll talk about him towards the end. But it seems like it was just rumours at first, lads, and now it's kind of become to fruition, especially with the likes of Laurie Whitwell and David Ornstein reporting it as well. Let's start off with Anderson. That's the big one. Where are we at with this player, Shreyas? I'll go to you first on it. Is this the guy who you would absolutely sling all your money at?
I think he's definitely one of them, because from what I've seen so far, I think this season as well, he's probably one of the most consistent performers. And at the same time, he's what you'll call an all-rounder. That he's not someone who's just good going forward. He's not someone who's just good defensively, but he's someone who's close to being that true hybrid. Mm-hmm. And I think this is what United really needs at this point. Not someone who's just good in one department, but someone who's versatile enough to function in a lot of different situations, and at the same time can help us maintain that sort of quality for the entire 90. Because right now what we struggle with is, the moment you take Casemiro off or one player out of this team, the quality levels drop by so much that other teams are able to, even make up for 2-goal deficits. So I think he's definitely one who would be value for money.
Question is, though, Sam, I mean, we mentioned it before, we can talk about him being a top priority midfielder, and he's the number 6. He's only young. I mean, I think his contract runs until 2029, £100,000 a week that he's on. So, one, you're looking at probably a huge fee. I'm not sure if there's any kind of gentleman's agreement or whatever in there. I know journalists have reported that maybe we'll be able to get him for less, but do you think just with the pure competition and the fact that he's in the spotlight at the minute, we're not guaranteed European football at the minute, will it be as easy as just, we want you, Elliot, come to the club?
I mean, that's all we've got in it, really. It's just like, look, if you come to United, projects, that one of the best players that United have ever had in Roy Keane came from Forest and came here and became a legend. Like, you could follow that path. That's the way you got to sell it to him. Like, obviously, we probably can bump his wages up as well, I'd imagine. But yeah, it just depends on what he wants to do, how he sees himself as a player. Because obviously, he's not going to be at Forest for his career. He wants to do more. He wants to play in Europe and advance his career and stuff. And I'm sure City are sniffing. I'm sure Liverpool are sniffing. I'm sure Chelsea are sniffing, because they sniff around everybody, no matter who it is. So there'll be other teams there, but like Cunha, like Mbumo, like Shesko, like there was other teams sniffing there, and they chose United. Yeah. So that's what you've got to sell it to us. And if he doesn't want to be here, then you move on to other targets, the likes of Carlos Baleba, the likes of Adam Morton, Angelo Sheila, those kind of guys. This is why you have multiple targets and multiple options, because if you chase one guy, much like Frankie de Jong, for the entire summer, and the whole time he didn't want to come in the first place, you then left panicking and you spend 70 million on a Casemiro who in his first season was great, but then he's now left us in a financial position of being absolutely screwed.
No longevity is there with signing.
So that's why you got to have multiple targets, which Ineos are now doing, and they're learning from previous mistakes in the old regime. So yeah, if he wants to be here, amazing. Like let's get it done. If he doesn't, then cool. Let's go to other targets. But I really like him as a player. Perfect age. He's English. He's Premier League proven. He's young enough to sort of like still advance and become better. I think he's got a bit of everything: fight, tackles, dispossession. He can pass. He can score. Like, I think he's got everything. He's one of those guys that if Fergie was still here, he would be a United player by now. Like, it would have happened, because he just ticks every box.
How much of a difference are we talking that this would make, Shreyas, if they go sign 2 players in the midfield? Let's say they go sign Adam Wharton and Elliot Anderson. Where do you think that would elevate us to?
I think definitely, it would be something that would actually, give us a more concrete future in that midfield. I would say, at least, speaking of the long term, because I don't remember the last time we signed midfielders into this team with a vision of, them being, actually sticking around for like a 6 to 7 year project where these two guys are, your go-to
Michael
guys in that
Carrick.
midfield. And
That was the
that's
last
been,
one.
yeah. And that's been a very long time ago. So definitely, we need reinforcements in that midfield. But if we are able to attract Wharton as well as Anderson, and you've got a very balanced midfield, because with Wharton you've got someone who's very good at linking up play and at the same time knows how to play those forward passes through. You've got Elliot Anderson, who's got that sort of edge in his tackling as well as his defensive prowess, but at the same time he's good enough when it comes to releasing out pressure and floating the ball out wide. So you've got a good blend of quality there. The only thing that I'm worried about, is not that them coming in and not being able to fit in. I think if both of those guys come in, I think they'll have a big impact in this team and they'll do really well. The one thing that I will be worried about if Wharton and Anderson come into the team is Kobe Mano. That's the only thing that I'm worried about, because I think if you get those two guys in, and then you still got other players in that midfield who can come in and do a job for you. And I can say it with surety, if United sign Wharton as well as Anderson, Mano won't be a starter, and he will know it. I don't think that he sticks around if we sign both of them.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that. There seems to be a lot of people who are scared by the price tag, though, and I'm like, to be honest with you, you can use the blueprint over the last couple of years where, I know I've said this before, but I look at Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo for Chelsea and Arsenal, and I look, not one person speaking about Declan Rice's price tag, because if you've watched the player, he has been unreal. He's probably the best midfielder in the league at the minute, if we're being honest.
If he comes, there's a lot of players in Arsenal you could take out, and I don't think it'd affect him that much. If you take Declan Rice out of that team, there's a huge, massive gate.
He can do everything.
Problem. Yeah,
everything. And like even his set piece delivery is fucking unbelievable. Everything is like top, like an 8 out of 10 out. And I think I look at the landscape now for the World Cup and what's going to happen with that, and it's going to be Anderson and Rice in the midfield. I'd put money on it. It's going to be those two, and there's a reason for that. It's because Anderson is, based on his performances this season, he's not far away from Declan Rice at all, and he's young. So
he's the next one, isn't he?
He's the next one.
He's the next England player to become the star.
I think so.
The next one.
But like you said as well, we thought that would Kobe Manu, and now he's in the shadows, and and that's purely a systematic thing, and I get it. But I suppose what I'm getting at, Sam, is, do we need a similar investment in the midfield like we did with the attack?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Like, people are going, just one midfielder. It's like, I don't think one solves this issue that we have. Especially, we know Casemiro is probably going to go, because I don't see him agreeing to a lower contract, to be honest. So I think he'll go. There's been a report from Mark Critchley from The Athletic today saying Bruno could possibly leave still in the summer, with European clubs and Saudi clubs still about. So that's two of your starting pair midfielders that leave in next summer. So that says to me you need to get two starters in. Because Ugarte isn't that guy to step up, is he? He's just not. Kobe Manu might be that guy, but then you still need depth within the squad to be able to rotate, especially if we get European football or whatever. So you say you need two. I would say, maybe then you promote a Sekou Kone as well as your fourth choice, but you need two. So the likes of Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Carlos Baliba, Angelo Steeler, those guys need to be seriously looked at, because you need to. You can't just go in and go, Elliot Anderson, problem solved, because what happens if Anderson gets injured or he gets suspended, or do you know what I mean? What do you do? Because you haven't got that depth, which is the problem now. If Casemiro doesn't play with Bruno, our depth is gone. We don't have it. So you need to get multiple players for each position to make sure you can rotate when needed, or if somebody's injured or somebody's suspended, or you need a substitute or something like that, that the quality doesn't drop off, which is what happens every single game when we substitute Casemiro. Every single game. If you got Wharton, Anderson, and then say you promote Sekou Kone. So you got Sekou Kone, Jack Fletcher, Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, and then Kobe Mainu. That's a good nucleus of a midfield there. Like, you got young players ready
Even
to go.
if
You
Cass
got
is still about, innit? Like,
even
for
if Cass not
experience.
about, like, you've got that nucleus there. That is a good nucleus, and doesn't matter how much you rotate, the quality is not going to drop off too much. So we're begging for it. And yeah, like I said, Michael Carrick was the last guy that we had that we invested in, and we haven't done it since. So yeah, 200 million for two really good midfielders. I think it needs to be done.
I want to get people involved in it because I can see there's a few comments, so I'll get you involved in a second. But that kind of conversation about the depth, it really sparks to mind. Like, the reason why Arsenal are doing so well this year and the reason why they're probably going to win the league is because Zubamende, Declan Rice, Ødegaard, Eze in the 10, Marino. Who's, you know what, he's such an underrated player, Marino.
What is his best position as well? Like, he plays everywhere.
But he's one of those, that's why he's so good, because the manager can go and go, right, you're at 9 today, and he'll still score. All right, we need you to do a job in midfield today, and he'll still, like, he's proper adaptable, and he's like, that's what makes him, like, a super underrated player. And then, obviously, the money that's been spent from them, it just goes to show if you spend it right, they've got that depth now where it doesn't see... Madueke just comes in for Saka. If Saka's out for, like, 3 months or whatever, they could just chop and change everywhere, so...
Yeah.
And half the players still aren't fucking available. They've not got no Ødegaard, Havertz, Jesus has been out for ages.
The defenders, Gabriel's out.
Yeah,
Ben
Gabriel's
White's
out.
Like, there's a bunch of defenders out.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah, depth is definitely needed, and that'll lead me on to the Semenyo thing from David Ornstein in a moment. But Barefoot Dream says our team's very frustrating, and a dead midfield with a combined age of 65 is crazy. Stephanie Griffith saying I would be amazed if we get Anderson. There's certainly going to be a lot of competition. And Pat May says we missed out on the best midfielder out there in Declan Rice, so we don't want to do that again. Go and get Anderson ASAP. I think that's a very good point. We all remember that under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, don't we? How we was pushing for Declan Rice.
Can you imagine if we got the players that our managers push for? If we get Declan Rice, how our midfield is Haaland, Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we got the players that we actually backed our managers. Can you imagine? Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
maybe we backed Ten Hag a little bit too much on that side. But
we
find
signed
that balance.
We signed too many players from his agency, which was an issue. But
from his,
he wasn't wrong on Harry Kane, was he? Like,
No,
let's be honest. Like, he was not wrong on Harry Kane, because look at him, what he's doing in Bayern Munich. It's ridiculous.
Outrageous. Maybe this other player falls into the same category as well. Shreyas, I was talking about, Ornstein was saying United still retain an admiration for Antoine Semenyo, as I'm sure plenty of that. I mean, he's been linked with Tottenham, he's been linked with Liverpool. Did you think United are going down this path because they've seen the succession of Mbeumo and maybe Cunha, if you can call him a succession yet?
Yeah, definitely. And on top of that, I think Semenyo is a top player. I think he's incredibly consistent, and he's been keeping that attack for Bournemouth alive. Yeah. You know, he's versatile enough to function across that front line and be quality in all of those positions. And again, with Mbeumo working out so well, Cunha working out so well, this is definitely a project which you can bank on, that, you know, if you're going with players who've proven their worth in the Prem, and then, you know, they've got enough stats and numbers, but on top of that, they've got that sort of character that they can, you know, handle the weight of the United shirt, then why not go for them? And I think Semenyo definitely fits into that category. I think this is his final season at Bournemouth. I think next season he's definitely going to be moving to a top club, whether it's us or someone else. But again, if you replace Dalot with Semenyo on that left-hand side, you know, you will see a completely different version of United. The reason being, both our flanks will be occupied by true wingers, but at the same time, both of them not just having the space, but at least, you know, having the creativity and that sort of rapidness inside the box that can cause trouble. And we can see that, you know, Mbeumo and Ahmad have been working so well on that right-hand side. If you got someone like Cunha and then Semenyo on that left-hand side as well, it's not going to be easy for any, you know, defensive unit to stop us, because both of them very unpredictable. Both of them want to get on the ball, and I think I can see why Amorim wants his, you know, wing backs to be that aggressive and that influential, because that's the way he wants to play. And if you've got players like Semenyo and Ahmad occupying those areas, you can definitely see United being a whole lot more effective in the final third. But can we pull it off is definitely a big question.
Question: is he going to want to come to United to play wing back? He's going to want to play. He's going to want to play the 10, isn't he? That's what he's going to want.
Personally, I think it doesn't matter as much, because in the course of the game, even though Ahmad plays at wing back, most of the times he's just stucking on that, half, on that attacking third line in most of
But
these games.
there is a defensive responsibility though that the tens don't
Yeah.
have, and I think that is where it's gonna. We
Yeah.
need a hybrid. Like we need. Obviously, there's not too many of these knocking about. We need a Nuno Mendes, don't we? That's
Exactly.
what we need. But obviously, there isn't a lot of those guys knocking about. But yeah, Nick, do you think he'd be happy to come in as a wing back?
I also think systematic. So Amarin typically with the way he plays is usually one more attacking wing back. So like Ahmad and Dorgu's a bit more defensively switched on at times. Whereas Ahmad pushes forward a little bit more. I think didn't you put that thing in where it was like the wing backs and it shows kind of So typically a team has one who pushes forward, like Munoz for Palace is the one who pushes forward more, and I think it's Richards on the other side or whoever it is. Not Richards, Mitchell on the left hand side who drops back a little
Tyreek
bit.
Mitchell.
Tyreek Mitchell. So I think it may be a little bit imbalanced due to that. I would think, but I don't know. I just want him as a player because I think he's that good. He can play.
I'm not going to say no to him.
I know.
He's a phenomenal player, but
I just think he's that good. He can play across the front line. He can play anywhere. Like you could put him and Bumo and Cunha as a three, and that would cause fucking devastation to any back line because that is three serious players to deal with that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in a back line and then lining up and seeing Cunha and Bumo and Semenyo? You're like, for fuck's sake, like I can't.
All of them, you like, are you taking him? And you go, nah, I'm not dealing with that. Like, all right, well you can have him then. And you go, yeah.
Like what we do, we'll double up on Semenyo. Well, what about in Bumo? Oh shit, like right, okay, he's just. There's so many problems.
Yeah, it's a problem. DJ Dark was saying your lineup for the Palace lads. The preview will be out tomorrow, so please do go check that out. It'll be out early. So we discuss all that in depth. And also get involved in that conversation as well in the comment section. T2 saying, I can't figure out why the Scousers want him. With all the problems they have, who's looking at them and thinking how to solve their problems and goes winger. Mad stuff. Yeah, I think it's
Salah replacement.
It's the most Salah thing, innit?
Yeah.
Salah's legs have clearly gone. I've watched them a lot this season, purely down to hate watching. I've watched them a lot, and a lot of their problems stems from they'll just have runners off the back of him.
Yeah.
Like Semenyo or Semenyo himself or whoever, he won't track back, so they'll just double up on that side and they'll just kill him in those spaces, and that's why it's proper imbalance.
I think as well, whoever plays in that middle position is getting in the space of Salah quite a bit. So he's getting like pushed out and frustrated. So he's not getting on the ball enough to cause the issues that he does. And as I said, he's another year older. His legs are getting more tired and stuff like that. So,
all of them, like a lot of them look leggy. Even McAllister. McAllister was incredible for them last year.
Van Dijk and Konate have just fallen to pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a thing about Konate today saying that Real Madrid are not interested anymore now.
What a surprise!
No shit. If they've gone watched in the season, they've gone. We're not bringing that to the Bernabeu, mate. You fucking mad. No chance. So, long may it continue. Now, moving on to a story that, again, David Ornstein, he has that thing done where he just comes in and goes, it's like Carl Pilkington for anyone who's seen it, goes, bullshit. Just got the power to go.
Drop in it.
Yeah. You just chatting shit.
There he goes. Right, shut up, everybody else.
What he said about João Gomez says Manchester United sources deny any interest in João Gomez. Wolves also confirm no contacts or talks have occurred between the clubs. And this has been a running story for like the last month. Yep. We had loads of people pushing it. I think Romano was pushing it quite a lot as well.
Jacobs as well.
Yeah, I was always under the impression it was agent driven. I said that in the WhatsApp chat. It just feels like there's no kind of substance there at all. Yeah. In which case, was he seen to you guys, both of you, as a depth option rather than like a starter, or would he start for United right now, do you think?
Romano mentioned him and Conor Gallagher are not priority signings. They're seen as opportunities, is I think the word he used. So obviously the priority signings would be Anderson, Belieber, Wharton, maybe Stieler is on that list, I'm not sure. But opportunity signings would be João Gomez. For example, say Wolves are in a worse position than they already are come January. Maybe you could get him for a decent deal and then he ends up being, like you said, depth to Anderson or whoever comes in the summer, because I don't think we sign one of those top guys in January. Like, I just don't see it happening. And the same with Gallagher. Like, obviously United want to do a loan, but Atletico only want to sell. So there's that sort of thing. So yeah, I just think it's opportunity thing. I don't think there's anything concrete where we're like, yes, they're the guys who solve our issues, because Ornstein has literally come out and Laurie's come out and literally said, no, it's Anderson, Watt and Belieber, those are the guys that they're going for.
Do you agree with that, Shreyas, on the João Gomez thing? Are you not too fussed about that kind of situation?
Yeah, because again, I think even if that deal does happen, I see him in more of a backup squad role sort of a player. I don't.
Ugarte, innit? Ugarte replacement.
Yeah, he's not going to be
Which
someone
is
who's
mad
going
to say because the guy was 50 million quid.
I'm just saying, like, he is though, isn't he?
No, you're right. Yeah.
I don't think that he's going to come in and take the spot of Bruno or of Casemiro. I think as a backup player for someone to come on and close out games maybe and start the odd cup game. I think maybe he can be that sort of a player, but not as a starter. And I think before United does look at backups, they need to address those starting positions. I think you can only look at backups once you've got your first choice 11 or 12 players up to the mark. And right now you don't have that. So until you can address those pieces of the puzzle, you don't really need to look at backups.
I'm with DJ Darkus on this about the Gallagher thing as well. The Conor Gallagher for me is just like I've never ever rated him. I just see him as an industrious player who gets about. That's it.
What is his like best quality? Can anybody name it? Because there isn't, like, he hasn't.
No.
His passing
Just
range,
covers a lot of ground. That's it.
yeah, like his passing range isn't excellent. It's not shy, but it's not excellent.
Yeah.
He's not quick. His vision is okay. He's
Just
not
an English Fred.
Yeah,
That's
he's
all
not
he is.
overly physical. Like I don't know what it is. Like it's like he's a very very Atletico Madrid player, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
he's a
Roll your
prototype
sleeves up,
yeah.
fucking stuck in.
Like he is a Diego Simeone player all over.
Yeah.
Like he's that type of player. So yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. Like I don't see it.
Pat May saying, look at West Ham since Rice departed to get a top midfielder. You have to spend big, so Anderson must be our main target. Big up Lumen in the chat as well. He's a man of few words, but it's always nice to see you in the conversation. Again, we're going to stick with the midfield and we're going to stick with the Athletics. They've been very busy today. Mr. Critchley has been reporting on Bruno Fernandes saying European and Saudi clubs are still monitoring Bruno Fernandes' situation. A summer departure remains a possibility. And do we feel like, I mean, we just spoke about how much should be invested in the midfield. Do we need both players to move on, Sam, in Cass and Brew to do this?
I think Casemiro, yes, because I just think the wages alone would help us tremendously to get more people in and would free up a lot of financial issues. Bruno, I said last year, and maybe like I think a lot of people pushed back on it. Maybe not so much you, Nick, because I think maybe you were in two minds about it. But I said last year we should have sold him and rebuilt this midfield this year, because now we're seeing it bite us in the fucking ass. Because obviously we spent 200 million on the attack. Did we need all three of them? Did we need Cunha, Mbeumo, and Sesko? Could we have not got one of those and invested in a midfielder? Because now it's starting to like think, because as soon as you take Casemiro or Bruno out, we're in serious trouble. So I think you could have sold Bruno last year to fund the midfield rebuild, kept Casemiro for another year, and brought in Belieber, Anderson, whoever it is, like you want to sort of like name, to play alongside Casemiro, get him up to speed, the season and stuff like that. Casemiro leaves next summer, and then you get your other guy in, and you build that way. And I think, but it's kind of cost us at this point. So I was of the opinion that we should have sold him, but they left it down to Bruno, didn't they? At the end of the day, like they said, it's up to you, and he chose to stay. So.
Yeah, it feels like
why we are.
feels like a pending question, doesn't it? Like every time we have the conversation about transfers and midfield trials, Bruno Fernandes is always something that's chucked in there. But again, there's always feels like there's been that kind of cloud over us where it's like if we do get rid of Bruno, then we can finally move on from this team that has been the Bruno reliant team, from this team that's you kind of put square pegs in round holes, all those kind of things that we've heard a million times before. Is that true? Do you believe that to be true? Do you think when Bruno moves on, you will see a huge change?
I think there will be a change, of course, because Bruno is probably one of your most consistent and, ability-wise, your best players in this team. And when a team does lose their best player, they need to figure out a way to, at least switch up or make sure that the gap left behind isn't so massive that the team isn't able to function altogether. So there definitely will be a change as to how we progress moving on. But I think losing both Bruno and Casemiro in one window itself is going to be detrimental to us.
Yeah.
Because I get the idea that, both of them go, you can completely revamp the midfield, you get Wharton and you get Anderson in, but people seem to forget that if United do make it into Europe, none of these guys have any European experience.
Yeah.
And with Casemiro, you've got a decorated player of the Champions League. With Bruno, you've got a decorated player as well who's played in European games a lot. He's got a whole lot of experience in. And I still think that you cannot win a team without having any sort of leaders or experience in that team. You need someone in who can, steer these youngsters in the right way. And I think United need to be careful about revamping this, because I've seen other teams as well looking to completely revamp their squad, whether it's the attack or the midfield, and they, sell every single one they've got. They bring the new players in, and it just doesn't click, even though those players might be killing it in other leagues or in other clubs. But you need to have the right players around these, new signings when they do come in. And I've never been a fan of the idea that what if United make it into Champions League next season and you've not got Casemiro as well as Bruno in the team, and all you're left with is Kobe Menu, Wharton, and Elliot Anderson. I don't think that would be a positive situation for us to have.
Do you know what worries me, Sam, as well? When you were watching the Everton game the other day and we get a scenario like that where they're just defending the box and it's just like really tricky to break down, and it feels like Bruno was the only player in there who was trying to make something happen and was the one that we rely on to create something. You get rid of that, what do you do?
It's the double-edged sword, isn't it? He is the unlocker. He is the guy who pulls us out of the shit when we need something. But at the same time, because we're so over-reliant on him, when he doesn't do that, there is nobody else to do something, because they all I think a lot of the guys just go, well, Bruno will do something, he'll sort it. And I think that happens. I think it's very much like Ronaldo at Portugal. I think Ronaldo is phenomenal, like he's phenomenal, but I think he's a detriment to the Portugal team at the same time, if you get what I mean. Like he's a great player, but because everybody's so revered and like, oh my God, Ronaldo, everything goes through him, which then detriments the team because they've got so many talented players like Vitinha and Bruno and all that sort of stuff. They all go through him, which then detriments the team and it makes it worse. And it's just, that's kind of what United are like. It's like, yeah, he is our best player, but he's also detrimental to the team because he is our best player and the other players look to him and play through him. It should be more of a team responsibility splitting out, and like everybody takes a portion of it. Much like under Fergie, like Keane was the leader, but like Ruud van Nistelrooy would step up, Scholes would step up, Giggs would step up, Gary Neville would step up. Everybody would step up and do something. We don't have that in United at the minute. Mbumo's trying to, Cunha's trying to, De Ligt is trying to, but we're not there yet. So we're still overly reliant on Bruno, unfortunately.
Yeah, I find it fascinating, the whole kind of experience conversation, because I keep referencing Arsenal, but they are the North Star in the Premier League at the minute. You kind of look at who are doing extremely well. And they a lot of their players, they seem to buy players 23, 24 who are then almost automatically becoming their leaders. So Gabriel, from what I know, I'm pretty sure he's 24, 25.
Yeah.
But he's a huge figure, and he's someone in the Premier League who everyone kind of looks at as like the big guy, the big centre-back, the like captain kind of figure. Same thing, Saliba next to him, and you can go throughout the full team. The average age is like really young.
Yeah.
Saliba went on loan for like 3 years or something. Yeah. Like he went on loan continuously, and they were like, oh, is he ever going to start? And then he's come in and he's been one of the best centre-backs in the league. Like, it's just that's the way it's been.
Yeah, fascinating times, and I'm sure we'll be live covering the most part of it, because it's going to be a busy schedule for Man United. December football, January transfer window. Will we make it into Europe or not? I'm not entirely sure. We do discuss this a little bit more in the preview that we've done, which will be out tomorrow. Crystal Palace away, a bogey team, very, very tricky. Lots of different kind of tangible things to talk about. We speak about Matheus Cunha as well. Obviously, his big injury Don't think he's going to be available. So how is that attack going to look? Are there going to be any kind of Will Alessandro be in the back line? Yeah, very interesting. So please do go check that out when it drops tomorrow. Apart from that, we'll be live for the game on Sunday as well. Don't forget it's a 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday, which I didn't even know existed, but apparently it is.
Well, apparently it's supposed to be Saturday, but because
Palace
played late last night, they've moved it. That's why, apparently.
Yeah, I can see that. So, yeah, we'll be live regardless. Hopefully after the game, we'll be a lot happier than we was after the Everton one, but I suppose we'll have to wait and see. Big up, Shreyas shaking his head, so you can guess his prediction. But yeah, big up everyone. Appreciate your time, lads. Appreciate everyone in the chat, whether you're watching this live or later on. Subscribe to the channel. Check us out on socials. More importantly, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you in the next one.